Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Buechler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com and here for a quick video to talk to you about Star Trek Discovery. It's doing it again. It's changing the Klingons again. And this is curious. I had actually mentioned this a lot in our recaps. If you've gone back and seen those, that it boggled my mind like why they did this. I mean, there was a lot of the dumb decisions going into this show. I don't know, making Michael Burnham related to Spock and the Klingons. I mean, that's just the beginning. There's so much more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But I had no idea why they did this. Now, Midnight's Edge, over a year ago, I believe, has done a couple videos kind of explaining what happened. And it was that they had to change 25% of the IP because it had split due to this corporate war between Viacom and CBS or whatever the hell's going on. And it's basically a war between two CEOs, I believe it's, or people who are in charge. I don't know if they're CEOs or not, but Les Moonves and it was Summer Redstone and now his daughter. And it was a struggle for power. And Les Moonves won. Now he's in a lot of trouble. So far be it for me to root for Me Too to get rid of somebody to get rid of Star Trek Discovery, but I'm kind of doing that. I'll be honest. I know it makes me a terrible person. But we talked about in the recaps, like maybe since, we're going to actually see more of the Klingons, maybe Klingons look different. Maybe Klingons are diverse too. And they're, different worlds have different looking Klingons. So that's a way they could kind of get their way out of it. There was also talk of eugenics. There was, of course, Worf mentioning it and just saying we don't talk about it to outsiders, which I thought was a great way to deal with it from the change of the motion picture. I love the new look. I like the look they had in the original series, but I love the new one that started in the motion picture and their new theme from Jerry Goldsmith. I loved everything about it. These new Klingons, though, look terrible. They're all fleshy and rubbery. And if you watch the show, the actors couldn't act through the makeup. They were speaking Klingon. And by the way, I need to shout out Doomcock and Random. Both did. Hello, I see you in the chat, Random. How you doing? Both did great videos on this. And I just want to add my 2 cents. I don't want them to be lone voices out there, which I don't think they will be. I'm pretty sure Midnight's Edge has done or will do a video, and good for them. And I will watch it. And like, share, and subscribe to all 3 of them. They're great. So yeah, the Klingons could not act through that at all. You couldn't understand a word they were saying. I was, at that point, I was kind of hoping they would just speak English and we could just pretend they were talking Klingon. But yeah, it sounded, I don't know if you guys ever saw the Corman Fantastic Four movie, but if you remember Dr. Doom in that, and they didn't like dub the voice. They didn't have the money to dub the voice. So it was the guy just acting through his mask and you couldn't hear a word he was saying. That's what it reminded me of. It was terrible. They all sounded like they had socks in their mouth or something worse. I don't know. So at what Star Trek Discovery, one of the things it gave us, they gave us a lot of firsts. It gave us the first fuck, multiple fucks. It gave us Klingon sex. Now, I've seen all the movies. I don't think we've seen outright Klingon sex. So, and that's something I really never thought I'd want to see or want to see. And there's a cleaned up representation of what we got, and it was during torture. It was, the thing about Star Trek Discovery was such a mean show. It was so dark and mean and not hopeful at all, and not Star Trek. And, this goes back to the Star Trek 2009 and the way they wanted to change it. They wanted to make Star Trek a space opera. Okay. It's not a space opera. And even if you go to the Wikipedia for Star Trek 9, they call it a space opera, which I guess that movie is, but I don't know. It's just, it's not. So let's go to this article real quick. And then we'll also, I want to talk about the canon stuff that Doomcock was bringing up, because I thought that was real interesting. But I think it also plays into what Midnight's Edge said in their videos a couple of years ago, that they really wanted to reboot this at one point. It sounds like there was a lot of indecision to me. That's what it looks like on the outside anyway. So here we go. Let me get to this. Star Trek Discovery Klingons will have a completely new look in season 2. Why? Again, before I even start, they're making all these changes. They're practically admitting season 1 was a disaster at this point. Bringing in Spock. Christ, they're going to bring in Kirk at some point. They will. Bringing back Patrick Stewart. I will get to that. So when Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access brought Star Trek back after a hiatus of more than a decade, part of the challenge was to update the franchise visuals for high definition television. What? That's their excuse. Bullshit. Among the most controversial decisions was the changing the appearance of the Klingons, a fan favorite alien species. Though Klingons have undergone many visual redesigns throughout the franchise's history, the changes will continue. During the panel, listen, before I even get started, the changes were minimal beyond Star Trek the Motion Picture. During a panel, during a panel at Star Trek Las Vegas, Star Trek Discovery makeup designer Glenn Hetrick teased that the Klingons will be getting a new look in the second season of Star Trek Discovery. As we move on into season 2, it has been a while since we have been through with our characters, Hedrick said. It has been a while since we have seen our Klingon friends. I wouldn't go so far as to say we were friends. So everything keeps evolving. The story has evolved. We're making this bullshit up as we go. And I can guarantee you that you're going to be blown away that they have a completely new look yet again going into season 2. The creative, that should be in quotes, team behind Star Trek Discovery has repeatedly said the show's second season will provide some answers to the lingering questions on why Star Trek Discovery exists. Oh, that's not what it says. About how Star Trek Discovery fits into established Star Trek canon. Hedrick offered a hint about how the series' very different looking Klingons may fit with the Klingon fans. Have come to sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Have come to know from previous Star Trek shows. And it has to do with the appearance is tied to family. Okay. Almost like everything else in Klingon culture. All right. In season 2, we're going to see much different designs, Hedrick said. We're going to see different houses you haven't seen before. Oh my God. One of the most important things to us was that this point is canon. As we head towards a current version of unification, the houses really each grow up on different planets. It is an empire. It is not just Kronos. We have not seen 6 of the great houses in close up in season 1. As we move forward into the next season, I promise that we will continue exploring and unpacking. God, there's that freaking word, and unfolding infinitely interesting stories of what the Klingon cultures look like on a wider level. I can't continue reading this. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's get to you guys in the chat. That is that's some pretty good spin there. That is some pretty good spin. And I also want to add that, and this is from another website that I won't show you. Back in April of 2017, the task of the Enterprise making an appearance came to be a work was to start right away. The task started the guideline that the Enterprise for the Discovery had to be 25% different. Otherwise, production would most likely have been able to use the original design from the 60s, but that couldn't happen. So we took from Jeffries. Basically, this is from an article stating that Star Trek had to be 25% different due to the rights issues. After Enterprise properties of Star Trek ownership changed hands and was divided, so what was able to cross TV shows up to the point changed a lot of the crossover was no longer allowed. Okay, so that is why J.J. Abrams' movie came along. Everything had to be different. The alternate universe concept was really made that the movie really made so that the movie could happen in the way that it was not crossing into the boundaries of the Star Trek original series. So, yeah, so it was a rights issue. That's crazy. It's utterly crazy. Let me get to you wonderful people in the chat. Hello, everybody. Klingons had dirty faces because of budget. I prefer the Klingons to human Klingons. I prefer the new Klingons to humans with different skin color Klingons. Um, uh, I don't mind them if they wanted to change them and make them look different in different houses and show more of the Empire Mako. I am totally down with that. But I think the execution on these Klingons was just I couldn't understand them. I couldn't understand them. Remember the can, yeah, and watch The Expanse. It's just a better show at this point, and watch your Star Trek reruns. Those are great. That is the bullshit. We already know what Klingons in the House of Kor looked like, though. Yeah, if you dig deep enough, I don't think they've done their due diligence and research, and again, I am not the biggest Trekkie or Trekker in the world. But I even caught stuff, I'm a pretty casual Star Trek fan. I've been a fan for a long time, but I don't, dig into the lore. I've read a few books, mostly the William Shatner ones, which he supposedly wrote. And yeah, you could save money on makeup for sure. And that's right. How's your father? How you doing? How's your father? Yeah, evolving takes months, not millions of years, says official Dougie J. What's up, man? Hi, Tara. Hi, Mako. Hi, Penn Farm Girl, official Dougie J, Carrie Dalton. Interesting thought question. Would you support STD if it meant we get a cleaned up HD transfers of DS9 and Voyager? Oh, man. Would I support it? No, I couldn't. Because I would figure, Carrie, that those things would come out anyway at some point. I don't know why. Well, they probably haven't because by the time they got around to it, and this is what's happened with a lot of stuff, is like 1080p is kind of going by the wayside and we're moving into 4K. So everybody's just waiting for 4K at this point, which is going to be a much more difficult transfer if you're going from, stuff they shot in the late 80s and early 90s. It's actually easier to transfer film in some aspects. And, but they can do it. They can do it. I'm still waiting for, God, they came out with Doctor Who Blu-rays for like a second, and you can't get them unless you get that big box set. And hell, Buffy and Angel never got put into Blu-ray ever. Thank you, Feisty Fan, for the $4.99. Gary, your laugh makes my day, even if it's over canon that's being bastardized. Stay positive. Oh, I'm always positive. And, I'm a very optimistic person, believe it or not. So like doing this stuff is not easy for me, but Star Trek Discovery was, God, it pissed me off in so many ways. And it was just, the main thing was that it really tried to, it looks like they tried to stick it to the fans. Now, maybe they thought that they were giving us fan service, but they did a lot of things they didn't need to do. I've said that before. They made it hard on themselves. I don't know what the hell they were expecting at this point. And this whole rights issues is why we can't have nice things. If they could have just, they being those two corporate entities that are battling right now, just freaking worked it out for the fans, everybody would have made money. You could have gone forward instead of doing another prequel. It's starting to look like now that they went back to do the prequel to make their own canon. I mean, that's what it is. It's a reboot. They should just call it what it is. It's a reboot. And then, at that point, I wouldn't have much to say about it. If you say this is a reboot, this is a brand new Star Trek, we're not going to mess with the canon anymore. Fine. Then I don't have to watch that. And I don't have to watch this. I watch it for the channel. But you're messing with something that people care a lot about. And you're doing it all willy nilly. You're not doing it with any care. And that's the part that's really pissing off the fans. How do you measure 25% of a franchise? Who decides where that line is and what measuring stick do you use? Says, oh my God, I'm good. Von Schemp or Von Spam. Am I getting close there? Sorry. I saw the Vegas Discovery panel with Scott Manns, panelists Doug Johns, Sonequa, and Mount. They mentioned the words hope, optimism, and canon like 50 times. Well, that's good. Why didn't they start with that? You know, it seems to me, and again, I said this during the recaps, Mako, that they went ahead and used the Bryan Fuller stuff because I think he left pretty late in the game and they didn't have time to really rally. What they probably should have done is just delayed it another year. They went ahead, but they've done, I mean, like the show or not, it's undeniable that it's done damage. And this is exhibit A of why they know they fucked up. They're changing the Klingons, and I bet you they're going to look a lot like the Klingons used to look like. Just a guess. They're bringing in Spock. They're bringing back Patrick Stewart. So they are trying to win fans back. That's undeniable. Roddenberry and Gene Kuhn need to be resurrected so they can come back and kick the new showrunners in the ass. Says Doug J. Right? Dougie J, my old friend Doug. So, okay, real quick, and I'll get back to you guys in the chat because you really are the most important part of the show. Doomcock was talking about a source close to him, or somebody posted on a Facebook group, and I'll just read you what Doug Fitz to Trekverse says. I have bad news. Info just in: Kurtzman is in charge of Picard, and it is being made in the Bad Robot universe, the Kelvin universe, the same as Star Trek Discovery. Now, is the Star Trek? Are they? I'm wondering if this is announcing that Star Trek Discovery is indeed in the Kelvin universe, or the Kelvin timeline, or Bad Robot universe. It will show Romulus and Vulcan as destroyed, and will not have the same timeline Picard has now. This is the dark part. The details will include the new Klingons, and nothing visual will quite match, they will have the same changes to avoid infringing on the original copyright, and the same BS. The only thing that could change is that Les loses control over CBS, and Sherry fires Kurtzman. Right now, the deal is locked and loaded. Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, like, even if Sherry comes in, unless Moonvis is gone, they're not going to pull the plug on all of this. I would love to see that, but that's not going to happen. I can't see that happening. So, I mean, the Klingons have looked like this. This is everything compared right here. I love that picture on the left. The original Baltar from Battlestar Galactica right there, right? Yeah, it's a big difference. It is a big difference. Now, it was really strange in the show too, how they we thought like T'Kuvma was going to be the bad guy, and then he dies, and like they killed a bunch of what could have been big bads to lead up to where they did. And there was a lot of narrative problems in that show. The best thing I like about the Kelvin timeline was Star Trek Countdown. I don't know if any of you guys read it. It was a comic book prequel to the Star Trek 2009 movie, a movie I don't hate. Okay, I enjoy that movie. But I see it what it is. It is a alternate timeline, modernized version, fun version of Trek. It's not part of canon, and I liked it. I liked the cast was great. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't like the sequels very much after that, but it was an okay movie, and it had a really good prequel comic, Star Trek Countdown, which kind of gave you a background on Nero, which really would have helped for the movie, because in the movie you kind of get his motivation, but not much. But they show it's got Picard and Data in it, and they've got Spock and the red matter, and it leads up to it. It's pretty good. It's actually my favorite thing out of it. So but that whole canon thing, I don't know if this is true or not. Random may know more than me, but it does kind of back up some Midnight's Edge videos that came out from about a year ago that mentioned that they wanted to either reboot the timeline, or they were going to mess it, or they were going to reset it. And I thought that's where they were going, with the spore drive, and then basically traveling in time. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And they still could do that. So, and honestly, that would, I don't know if it wouldn't appease anybody, but it would definitely take away from some arguments if you just rebooted the canon and didn't mess with the prime canon. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And I know, hey, I'm not going to change your mind if you're a fan of the show, but I clearly am not. But I'll say again, I gave it a fair shake. I watched every episode, recapped it. I tried. I really tried. There are so many rumors about what I saw directly from the guy who was the designer, and he made it seem like they're going back to canon. Okay. Grady, Castle Rock is going to be next. I'm doing it tonight. Dennis jumped out of Castle Rock because he didn't like it. I want to continue it, and it actually airs for us tonight. So I know it's late, but it actually works out for my schedule better. That'll probably be about 10:30. So I got to wrap it up here pretty soon. Gary, can you just use some of that sweet Tesla money to buy Star Trek? We got our own problems right now, Carrie. I'm sure you all saw the news. We're going private. Saving Tesla's privates. Going down the chat here a little bit. Star Trek Discovery gave us the first time I didn't give a fuck. Random. That was funny. You make me laugh. All right, I'm going to go down here. Vulcan was only destroyed in the Kelvin timeline. It is not destroyed in the Prime, but Romulus wasn't destroyed in the Kelvin timeline, as far as we know, anyway. As far as I know, I was just reading what that guy said. Yeah, I thought that was weird too. Just give me the Enterprise F so the Eagle Moss can make that model, says Young Mac. I love Eagle Moss. They're awesome. That was funny. I think JJ wanted a clean slate. Seems like that's where they're heading anyway, says Jesse Sakuda Jr. Sorry for messing up your last name there, Jesse. Yeah, that's a weird way to go about Star Trek, though. Like I said, it's not a space opera. You're changing the format of the show. But at this point, so much damage has been done. That's why I said in my Spock video, just go ahead and do what you're going to do. Just do it, end it faster. The IP split between CBS and Paramount is mentally, it's tarded, says Nigel. Yes, it is. You know what? And like the MCU has that a little bit too. That's why the TV stuff doesn't cross over with the movie. It's because two guys can't get along. Now, one of them is famously a jerk, which is Perlmutter. But Kevin Feige and Perlmutter couldn't get along, so that's why we don't get a crossover with the TV stuff. We get, they allude to it, but they don't like outright crossover, except for like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. The Krill from the Orville are vastly superior designs. Von Spam. I just want to say like in German. I don't know if I'm saying it right. That is so true. The Krill were awesome looking. If only Romulus is destroyed, the Picard series, it's not retcon. If Vulcan is destroyed too, then the whole timeline is different, says Mako. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how they fix it. I'll be, if this turns out good, I'll be the first to admit it. That would be the biggest turnaround in the history of television and storytelling, in my opinion. The STD Klingons are just bad custom designs. They are not practical for filming. The actors can't act in all that foam rubber with a mouth full of plastic teeth. Yep. I mean, it was awful to watch. And then speaking Klingon, Sherry Redstone may not pull the plug, but should if she came in. She can delay the project and changes are made. She would have the power to mess with it a lot. But what we're getting, I mean, like Star Trek's, season 2 is pretty much in the can. They're in post right now, and we're gonna see it very soon. Axanar, Axanar is probably the most up-to-date canon Star Trek. Axanar was so cool. I wanted to see so much more of that. Richard Hatch was awesome in that. That's what Star Trek Online does. It shows the Prime Universe post Romulus being destroyed. Gotcha. Thank you, Nihilist Shadow. I have to go there. I would, my God, listen, I don't want to complain too much. I just have zero time to do anything anymore except talk to you wonderful people and hang out with my family when I can. Yeah, the only reason I'm doing a video now is the wife crashed out early. I did like Countdown, even if I still think the red matter was silly. Well, yeah, the red matter shows up in everything J.J. Abrams, or at least three things that I remember. It wasn't called red matter, but it was like a red blob of ambiguous stuff that showed up Fringe and an Alias. It was part of that Da Vinci. I can't remember what it was called. The purpose of the 2009 film is that Spock, Nimoy, and Nero were from the Prime universe, and the Kelvin timeline was created accidentally due to the red matter. Yes, due to shenanigans. Yes. And what happened, Nihilist, was I never felt like the movie explained. I mean, they did it really fast, but like we just got too pissed off Nero, and we didn't get to see like that he was actually trying to save his planet, and he's trying to save his planet and his family. They showed you like his wife and stuff. Yeah. Countdown was very entertaining. Bryan Fuller told them to look at Alien in the design for the new Klingons. That's from the mouth of the designer. So it's Bryan Fuller. God damn, Bryan Fuller, I freaking loved American Gods. I can't speak bad of him about that. That was a good show. Takuma looked like licorice. CBS murdered Star Trek. Was it CBS or was it Viacom or was it both of them? Was it both of them? As mad as we get at Abrams and stuff, there was people who told him he could do that. He probably pitched a lot of those ideas, but there is people in this world who can say no to him. I don't understand why he's got so much power in Hollywood. I don't. Hey, Neurotic, maybe today you can pronounce my name right. Ali, let's see, Vaea. Try that. Ali Vaea. Is that close? Ali Vaea. I'll work on it. Tara, I will do my homework tonight. The only counter I have to that is I'll spell. Well, you guys have heard me pronounce my last name. Nobody ever gets it right. So, oh my God. Almost no views from Vegas on DS9 25th and no San Francisco Con this year. No, the San Francisco Comic Con, Jesse, that's in Oakland. There's no cons in San Francisco anymore. It's too expensive to do anything here. Although there's poop everywhere in the street. Von Schman. Good news, everybody. I found Roddenberry. He's not dead. He's stuck in a transporter buffer on the back of the Paramount lot this time. Everything will be okay. All right. Jimmy Doolittle. It is Star Wars all over again. My God, it's Star Wars all over again. It's Ghostbusters all over again. It's Marvel Comics all over again. It's like Doctor Who all over again. It's a great example of a modern take of a reboot that improved on a series was Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica was brilliant. Take that approach. Use that as your formula. They kind of blame Bryan Fuller for season 1 of STD. He wanted to make an even darker with gore and bad stuff. I'll just say. Well, there kind of was that, Mako. They did have, I don't want the word that rhymes with drape. Yeah, with oh my God, I'm blanking on his name now. Ash. Talk about taking one for the team. Oh, it's all good. $1 million idea. Do a Star Trek anthology show where each week they adapt a different piece of fan fiction found on the internet. Well, wasn't that what it was supposed to be? In the beginning, how's your father? Not fan fiction, although fan fiction would be better in Star Trek Discovery. It was supposed to be an anthology show. That's what I thought. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this one up, everybody. Thank you for being in the chat. You guys are really, really wonderful. We have some awesome patrons that I like. I'll just thank you. And thank you for all for watching. And yeah, this was just a last minute video. And again, we do everything live here, so we love it. We want to hear from you. That's the most important thing to the Nerdrotic channel is you. It's no bullshit. I would be lost without you. So I really appreciate you guys coming in and chatting me up. And it's okay to disagree here. I don't attack people or anything like that. You can even get salty. It's all right. Just no personal attacks, and we're all good. We can always disagree here. Like, listen, I like a lot of crap too. It's okay. It's all right. Like I said, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, love the hell out of that movie, and it's garbage. I know that. So I will be up in about an hour reviewing Castle Rock if you're going to stay up late. Otherwise, our next show on the channel, I believe, will be Friday Night Tights with Dennis and Susan. And I'm sure we will talk more about this. I really want to hear more about that canon thing. I'm just hoping it's a rumor. That's like the Silver Spike said in a previous video. I expect the worst and hope for the best with Star Trek now, which sucks, but that's the way it is. And I have no control over it. And there is great shows out there. Watch The Expanse, watch Legion, Mr. Robot, Counterpart. There's a lot of good stuff to watch that you don't need to watch this. Go sign up for, Counterpart. I can't say enough about that show. It is so good. And there's always YouTube. You could check out live streams. You could check out Random Game User 42, Overlord DVD, Doomcock himself, Midnight's Edge, the Anti-Trekker, who I believe is live right now. So they're all good YouTube channels, and they're fun. And yeah, good stuff. Will Dennis and Susan be on the Castle Rock one? No, Jody, I am taking that one solo. Maybe we'll get Susan on in the future. I don't know how she feels about the show. How old is Gary? 20 or 21? That's funny. I only act that way, Mr. Vane. No, if you double that and then add 8 more years. Actually, my birthday is next week. So I'm going to be 49. Yeah. It hurts saying it. So yeah, Mako, there you go. Doors and corners, everybody. Watch The Expanse.